all of you who have assembled here to participate in this webinar. I'm particularly delighted to partner with NIDM to host this webinar series focused on disaster and its impact on a variety of groups. We have been having a very good interaction and collaboration with NIDM, and we are really glad for collaborating with them. And I am Major General Manoj Kumar, the Executive Director, and of course today's coordinator of this program, Professor Ajinder Walia, and of course the head of the department and the course coordinators and forum coordinators and the student volunteers who are doing a great job in organizing this event. Now, the disaster has definitely an impact on people, and it has double and more than double impact on vulnerable communities and populations. If we take today's topic itself in terms of its impact on transgendered persons are invisible in the community. So very often they're not counted in terms of the impact of disaster at all. And they're often ignored and sometimes denied access to relief material. And we have seen and read about cases of where temporary shelters after disasters all over the world have not permitted transgendered persons to enter, and they have been treated very badly at the times of disaster. So disaster really multiplies their already existing troubles and woes. And you know, disaster often brings the worst out of human beings. So you have people exploiting the situation, using the disaster. So in all this, we have had transgendered persons bearing the brunt of disasters. And I think it's important for society to understand first of all this from the perspective of the people who are working for transgendered persons, and try and see how, as social workers or as volunteers, how we can mitigate the impact of disaster on vulnerable populations. So I'm glad that we are joined today by Ms. Grace and Ms. Madhumitha. Come on behalf of the institution, and we'd like to really thank you for your presence here. We look forward to a good deliberation, not only today, but in the following series also. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let's start today's session on transgender and disaster. Today we have with us Dr. Madhumitha Gomathinayagam. I request Ms. Tamil Selvi to introduce ma'am to our participants.
Thank you, Kritika. Good afternoon to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure in introducing the speaker for the day, Dr. Madhumitha Gomathinayagam. She is the India's first transgender HR professional. Ma'am holds 16 plus post-graduations in various subjects and many professional certificates. She also has 15 years of experience in the field of HR. Ma'am is currently working as the HR and Operations Manager in Eversense Solutions Private Limited, Chennai. She is a social activist and multi-faceted volunteer, having the huge contribution in social service for 22 years. Ma'am has worked towards children, environment, and differently abled. She is a motivational speaker and plays a huge important role in creating awareness, providing free training on yoga, meditation, personality development for youth. Ma'am is also a voice, a certified and trained first aid provider. Voice is nothing but volunteer in case of emergency. Ma'am has been honored with 35 plus awards, including Star of Hope Award, Best Educationalist, Humanitarian, and Inclusion Champion. She has been selected as one amongst 100 youths of Chennai, and she is the proud recipient of Corona Crusade Award. We are so happy to have you with us, ma'am. Over to you.
Ma'am, can you kindly unmute, ma'am? Thank you so much, ma'am. We request you to take over the session.
என் தாய் கற்றுக் கொடுத்த தமிழ் மொழிக்கு வணக்கம். என் தந்தை என்னை தவழவிட்ட இந்த தமிழகத்துக்கு வணக்கம். It's a beautiful topic, of course. Very relevant, very important for the upcoming generation, especially young people who pursue postgraduate in social work should definitely know about the impact of this global pandemic society, especially the most vulnerable, the most damage causing, the most worst affected, very small minority crowd called transgenders. So people should know about the voice of it. The first, the lockdown was from that month onwards. We are almost in 8th month of it. Still, transgender community faces the impact, the worst negative impacts of COVID-19 and its lockdown. Count-wise, people might see lakhs of people, men and women, would have got infected by COVID-19, got hospitalized, been in quarantine homes, been in government quarantine, self-quarantine, and then they got discharged. But it's not the infection alone. It's not only the physical safety alone, but it is a social security matters a lot. How? Because women by their own families, their own life partners, their own children, their own relatives, caste, community, kith and kin, in and around people around them, all used to take care of themselves. Big bodies are there to, there to support them. But if you see minority communities like transgender, especially gender-prone community, the existing society itself lacks awareness about the community. As rightly said by your principal, the visibility of the community itself is very less. So at this point of time, picking a topic on perspective with more focus on transgenders makes a lot of sense. First of all, I would like to thank for picking this topic and getting into a national level webinar with India's best and India's proudest and India's most promising organization called NIDM in collaboration with world's best social work school called Madras School of Social Work. Both are the best organizations collaborated today to come up with this disaster management national level seminar. But the whole India is going to see this presentation. I would say lockdown, I would say quarantine, I would say isolation might be new words to men and women who are there in families with their relatives, with their dad and mom, brothers and sisters, life partners. But transgender don't have all these. They've been thrown out from their homes, away from their homes, away from relatives, away from their own communities. Sometimes thrown away, beaten up. Sometimes, most of the time, lacked education, so denied employment opportunities, so don't have proper income, so lack social security benefits, SIC, PF, HT, plus decline, plus nothing. So whatever comes can able to shake up their lives. So these kind of very vulnerable, very uh, you know, how do you say, negative impact prone society has huge impact of COVID-19 because the other disasters like how we had tsunami 2003, 4, and we have Varda, we have Chennai mega floods, and Gaja, all were creating impacts which were visible to people. They can able to see, hear, touch, feel, crowd, the mass. So all could able to jump in on said it's all one specific portion of the whole world, but this is entire world. So it impacts all the people. all the organization getting extended to the small minorities, because the majority itself has been affected. The majority itself wants the support. The majority itself needs to be taken care. You need to just imagine how this small, tiny minority with very less people, that too mostly migrated crowd, because mostly transgender people are thrown up from their home, so they don't want to live in their own districts of the particular state, or even the state also. There are most of the people come out of their state also. They don't want to even see their faces, right? Or the parents, if threatened to move away from the state itself, they call migrants. So these migrated crowd has even more huge impact. Probably the isolation away from family, the emotional side, the psychological side might not be so new, unlike you, because this is new to you, because you're, unfortunately, if you're away from your dad and mom relatives, it creates a pain in you. It's create an uncertainty in you. The trans people, they've already been exposed to that pain, the feeling which you have all these days. We have been experiencing for years together. It's all same. It doesn't make any difference. It's not a new, pain for us. It's been since inception, the life from birth. But economical situation, sociability, two major parts which we need to focus, where the existing support system available for trans people, like NGOs supporting them, community-based organizations, CPOs supporting them, their own community people in and around them who can able to support them, are unable to support at this point of time, because all of us are affected at this point of time. So this makes a very huge negative impact. People helped each other, a little bit of financial savings, investment helped them. Third month, when they stepped in May, it started shaking. It was mid and end of May, it was so worse. June was so worse, because the supporting system like CPOs, NGOs also stopped there. Support very tough. So trans life was very, very worse, especially the unemployed, especially the self-employed. The most jump falls on beggary or the commercial sex work. Both of them are being, both of them can't able to make their functions during this COVID-19. So the financial was cut almost of 4 months away from their own respective professions. So you can able to imagine what they would have had in their hands. So all becomes paupers, all becomes people without a tiny piece of bread in their hands. Very tough. People supported, community also supported. The very next, the upcoming speaker, there is a real COVID warrior, community people, supporting community. I know it was really good actually. She supported a lot of people who were in remote areas, got stuck. And you could able to see my own respectable sister Apsara Reddy helping people in cosmopolitan city. Kanimuri MP from DMK supported a lot of trans people from her own constituency money, party money, and all. They all supported. Government also supported their from their part, like groceries, free groceries provisions for a few months. That too after few months, of course. So they already had, they have provided the ration cards for them. So non-ration card holders becomes another victims. So food scarcity and the insecurity for food was major chunk. Forward is there, stay. Transgender always in metros and cosmos, they really don't get uh, space to rent, and now it's zero income for 3-4 months. They're unable to pay a couple of months. Then the house owner say vacate your home. This is what I've not provided to you people who are not employed properly in corporates, who have been not had enough savings. This is what we say. We don't want you people inside. Go away. But there they'll go. Everyone is affected. The free transgender community people are affected. So this the existing problem, because even more vulnerable, which is even more painful, life becomes threatening to people. They don't know how to react to it, because this kind of situation has never ever been exposed, nor someone has even told them this kind of stuffs. Also, they are exposed in any ages, in any centuries of their life, in any part of history of trans life. No one's told us. So it was even more very much puzzling stuff to you know pension live with the uncertainty, risk of life, uh, insecurity for stay and food. Right, becomes led by your respectable principal when the quarantine homes or even the shelter homes globally, even in COVID also, with the food provisions, the majority dominated. Always there is a hindrance, there is a social taboo existing. COVID time also it existed, and they were not even much supporting trans people, hesitating them, overruling them, right? And then financial, without financial status, the trans like become even more worse in those non-economically uplifted. Comparing to other states, Tamil Nadu is okay, India is okay, comparing to other third world nations. So this is a very bad situation which we all faced. Of course, there are certain good things which I can able to see as opportunities. People who have been invited to start their own commercials, their own entrepreneurship. They who have been doing commercial sex work, who has been doing peggery. They said like, oh, this is not a long term solution for my income generation. There's a roadside platform, idli shop, idli kada, kallu kada. So at least that change I could able to see in many of my these two professional categories that I could much. Already said three people's even a corporation used transgender people to create awareness among people. So don't want to step out to create awareness. So they all jumped in, got trained quickly, created roadshows, mime, music, and everything, street play to create awareness among us, physical distancing, sanitizer, follow WHO guidelines. So the participation was always there by the community to the people. I could able to say, want to share my COVID experience to, stories also, because when the lockdown starts, March, I was also clueless how to take it forward. Fortunately, I've been with my family always, and then post transition also been my dad and mom. I've been employed, so salary is there, work from home, but then always doing step out. I was so amazed, I was so surprised how to take it forward. Fortunately, COVID told like you need to step out and do your service. Fortunately, got a call with the Greater Chennai Corporation to become their volunteer, proud volunteer, and then serve migrant laborers in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, to provide groceries for them, because no other people or social activists could able to step out in COVID time. Also, it was peak time of spread in the month of April, May. So fortunately, got an opportunity to be a volunteer serving migrants side Tamil Nadu, India, East, West, whatever as parts of India they are. So you're able to serve them, fight hunger day and night. I worked hundreds of families, able to provide groceries, and then they all been safely moved to their own states. And then our own people started, hey, you've been serving them, it's May and June started. They said, like, we also want it. So we transgenders helping them again, went to communities like Gypsy. Normally people don't entertain or talk with them and assume that they spread COVID, which is not. They're very clean community, very controlled community. So educated, they're all very scared few suicidal attempts were also there in Chromepet communities and all. They invited me, so opportunity to create awareness among Gypsy community people, Irula community people, also children, village children. So a beautiful community people. People normally the society throws. Society also throw us most of the time. So I thought like I'll serve them. So creating awareness for those communities, a little bit, speak in their own mother tongue language, slang, so they get to understand. A little bit tell them more practical means and ways how could able to prevent COVID, follow WHO guidelines with providing free mask and other kind of services. Great opportunity for us. And then I started jump with people and start serving people to fight hunger. Hunger post meat was the major chunk for everyone. So like, why shouldn't I start? I started minus finance, have only thought, initiative, ideas, because I took that idea of going out, verification, everything from GCC volunteering. And then I thought like I'll start myself. Covered nearly thousands of families, which includes all different types of differently able people, women, people with children, vulnerable groups, deceased, uh, migrant crowd, and all type of people with poverty. I could able to step inside. Of course, I do have my dad and mom who are 70 and 65 plus. They said, "Go out, daughter, go out and serve people. It's okay. They also will support you." So they give me that green signal to step out of the home. So still going out and serving people for the irrespective of which normally we get. So there was a lot of change. I took this COVID as an opportunity to gel with people, mingle with people, visit place where people don't like to visit, slums, hardcore slums, unclean slums, especially those north areas, isolated places, garbage, trashes, mountaineering places where people don't like to work with. Get able to, I took this and a sincere opportunity to travel all these three three major big districts, extreme end at con, distributed groceries for them, which will last long for a month of time, in which will all my friends helped me. Most of them are not rich people, but they're all youth like you people. Friends. Used social media very promptly, promisingly. Daily worked hard, so it was a very good experience. I thought of like this is the mainstream society, so people will really feel inclusive rather than we feel inclusive. It's reverse. They take it as inclusive. Every home I visited, they usually see trans people as takers, beggars, recipients. There's a paradigm shift where they all become poor, and we could able to serve them with food. They looked at us with very big difference of mind, very warm, very receptive. They thanked us from the bottom of their heart. Misunderstood courage, this peak of corona time, been able to jump out on the soil and we've been able to penetrate deep into people have not come. So they all thanked, and the vision has changed. Many migrant labor from other parts of North India, when I were given groceries, also told we used to beat transgender people in my state, in my Uttar Pradesh, Taradon and all, where I've not been aware of transgenders. And when I've been in hunger in Chennai, I don't know your Tamil language. I don't know whom to approach for food because my shop is closed. My owner is gone to their native. Don't take care and care us. And 9 o'clock, I made the call to GCC for food. And 10:30 at night, roads were complete dark, raining. No one was the road. All alone, travel all the way. to deliver food for that brother from Uttar Pradesh. Just flattened my leg, and then he said, like, "Thank you, sister." I'll say thank you, deity. I've been ignoring you people, and now you've saved me from hunger. Thank you so much for that. So those words were very impressive words, and he also took me as a vote transgenders in his state, treat them with equality, see them as human beings. So those kind of little bit of practical changes I felt when my own state, Chennai, and I visit a lot of communities, slum areas, societies. We've been there. People felt very good, very warm. People who generally don't cross the boundaries. We penetrated deep into their colonies, homes, and then we served them with medicines, groceries, milk powder for children, fruits, vegetables for born baby, medicine and stuffs. Also, we provided milk powder and all. So those mother really wished us like real mom for their kids. So I think I personally took all these nice opportunity to gel with people, help them during this COVID pandemic time. And as a community, we're able to see a lot of new supporters. It's not like supporters uh, from from one side. I could able to see many supporters for people who came forward. Through even Apsara already offered a lot of vehicle shops, idli shops opening, so that they can able to start their own entrepreneurial approaches to them. Many Lions Club, Rotary, all started their own initiatives for them, especially in down south of Tamil Nadu, so that they can able to start up something of their own, and then be self-dependent during this COVID, which they also loved it. Also, they have the skill to cook, so they can start somewhere. So these are all new opportunities they can able to found. Of course, the government announced, central government around a reservation process for transgender people in central government, very opportunistic affair from government of India during this COVID time, because the government of India also seen transgender people suffering. Recent enactments and recent court, um, Supreme Court of India telling to take care of commercial sex workers, I see is a new opportunity for them, because the commercial sex worker side has been totally thrown away, not been taken care, ignored by major states of India. But Tamil Nadu has a very special process for them. So I see this also as a very good initiative where people can able to needs to really pitch in to work, protect those kind of professionals, commercial sex workers, their own wish and will. It's really up to them. It's the moral. It's all different story, but then that is also a profession. So I think. Yeah, of course, there's a new comment on that. Yeah, so because the visibility is not there due to the non-visibility, the people will not even know that these communities been affected. They said they earn a lot, and then they will save, and then they'll eat. No, no, it's not. It's there for them for a week of time or else a month. They can eat, and then they can take it forward and left. That's it. Not much on that. They can't able to build palaces out of their bakery or their commercial sex work. It's a very bad perception of social society that they're all very rich people doing this, or else they will become rich. They will never become rich, and prone to um, vulnerable diseases, sexually transmitted diseases were also very more. So it is not like the enjoyable life. It is a very bad, probably trans women or women carrying that profession. Even more, it's worse. Their lives were very discriminative, very unrespectful life, inhuman treatment was there everywhere they go. And one more opportunity I could able to say, I could able to see young trans people who penetrate here, earning and everything. Their family called them because they're also isolated. They all don't even speak to each other. And this time they called back. They said, like, let us be together. Sorry, we've thrown you out. We've been never given feel the human impact because the isolation, lockdown, being together, family people seeing their own faces, they didn't want to miss their kith and kin. So there are a few invitations for new young trans girls who thrown out from their home, being recalled by their parents to reinstate in their families. Yeah, I think this is a very a good opportunity for people to reinstate their families. Employment opportunity, yes. In COVID time also, you could able to see a lot of, because and people can able to work from home and it's not visiting offices. I could able to see a major corporate in Chennai recently during COVID time only. I believe it's May or June. Recently, they recruited nearly 4 people, especially one from Lala College, two experienced people also with very good, nice pay. So I feel this is a very good. It's Verizon, so it's a very good pay also. I see this as very good opportunities for trans people. People able to be more inclusive at this point of time. You need not have your physical appearances in your job. At least for here, it's going to be work from home concept. So I think that is, those are all nice opportunity also has happened. Typically, every personal stuff trans people nearly shared what they had. They didn't thought about the very next day what is going to happen when the lockdown is going to get stopped, because every time it's been unlock, it's unlock 5 we have reached, but then certain things remain same, not much. Corporates open shop not been executed. So the people, the major chunk of beggary profession continuing, trans people who used to beg in trains and make their livelihood really suck and suffer and all. So it's almost 8 months. Just imagine you're unemployed, you don't have any savings for 8 months. How do you survive? So those trans people life was really pathetic, and still at this point of time, like visually challenged people sell or who beg, sings in train, how their life is so pathetic at this point of time. The same situation, the same emotion, the same very pathetic financial condition for those trans people also. So this mindset and this opportunity as a very good synchronization, which I see as an opportunity again. But the quantum of the society created space for trans people to pursue in school, college, get them graduated, and then move to corporate or start their own business entity is very less. This gap is huge. So this gap needs to fill by inclusive people like you. It's you. You all needs to think about it so that could able to take part in this community initiatives, take benefit from the society, but get benefit from the infrastructure, society, system, governance, everything. Else, the majority people take away everything, and then the minority, goes victim for the discriminated mind. They are not being still included. So this also happens. And when you get transited back to their own places was even more tougher, because they said like you will not have any jobs next few months, and how do you pay the rent? So this was again a very big mess. Though government, especially the Tamil Nadu government, has created a lot of homes for them and that they deployed. I think Grace will share the nice story of Sandeep Nagar. Definitely, I will request Grace to share that story also, which will be very interesting for you. So those things happened during COVID time. I very good stuff. So like this, COVID played a very impactful um, stories in a transgender people life. So, especially when I interacted one side with trans people, one side with the mainstream men and women helping each other, got a lot of nice experiences from this COVID, especially the COVID prawn lockdown and its impact, those poverty, those lack of food insecurity was not experienced by you mainstream people, men and women, because this were been already experienced by us transgender people. Didn't stumble, they didn't got collapsed, because they already had this experience of having nothing in their hand, who drink water and slept in the night without having food also. So this has been already had experience, so this is not much emotionally threatening. It's only economical pressure, huge stuff. So its individual perspective might be lack of awareness uh, about genders. People may not accept transgenders, superstitions, uh, and the pre-doctrined mindset, the pre-constructed concepts, theories, wrong theories inside the mind, all create a mindset which is against transgender people. When you start humanity, when you speak humanity, you need to respect all three genders: men, women, and transgenders. Transgenders are good, transgender women, and trans men also. So people needs to respect each other and then give equal opportunity for people. Lot of differences. Diversity is the breadth of this nation. We are a very diversified nation, so everyone needs to have opportunity, and you will enjoy the space when you accommodate trans people also inside your organization, inside your in corporate or in social initiatives or community initiatives. You will have a difference. Your initiatives have a different dimension altogether to serve. Else you will have the same old monotonous stereotyping keep running, where you will not much learn any new stuffs. So you need to be inclusive, you need to be diversified when it comes to approach, so that you will also learn a lot. There's a lot of stuffs we can able to learn from the third gender. Don't say third gender, say transgender, because no, I don't know which is first and second. So you can't tell us we are third. We are also starting from humanity. We are also there. History, every historical script has stories of trans, so they can't say as third. Probably for chronological order, the Supreme Court of India state third. So it's something called third and all. It's three genders. Yeah, so I think I've touched a little bit of glimpses on that. And for NIDM, this is special good news and happy news also, because I'm also an Aptha being trained by National Disaster Management Authority through Tamil Nadu Disaster Management Authority, GCC. So saving and trained, certified, and helping, ready to help people during 2015, helping people in different forms, hunger, rescuing their properties, cleaning rivers, species, everything. But of course, everyone contributed. We also did, and Kaja also. So being with you as a trans woman throughout all the hardship time of the society, never skipped, never missed any social responsibility with any sort of a reason, always contributed as a contributing human being to the society. So we be proud of ourselves, such transgender people, being with you and serving you. So yeah, so I think that this note I could able to. I think the next speaker should also be waiting. So globally, something thanks to COVID also for making people a little bit turn on as my best friend is transgender. Oh, lovely. Okay. This young generation, of course, I always, I see them very special rather than எல்லாம் கடவுளும் படைப்பு திருநங்கை நாம் போற்ற வேண்டும் என்று வருகிறது. Okay, thank you. Shanmugavel, yeah. So this generation is entirely different. This generation starting from inception, because in Tamil Nadu textbook also has lessons on transgenders, empowered transgenders, pre-above kind of people, like stories were being explained to kids, so they know how the trans life works, and they know the pain of us. So kids, they've been groomed well. It depends upon the teacher how she explains about the transgender to children. So the children becomes youth. Here we're able to see 100 plus strength. Lovely in this afternoon joining in this session. Very happy. Take it forward. So you have been very. Step one, school also, yeah. No, I think this concept is good. I think that first is saying to start as transgender school. No, need to create provision where trans children will pursue their schooling in normal schools. Then their school becomes inclusive. Transgender will uh, uh, learn how to mingle with those two genders, and men and women, boy and girl, will learn how to interact, how to understand, and then uh, how to include that trans child in their life. So that's the gender college, transgender university. For women, definitely, it's a different story where we have a special women university, women's school, women college. That's all different story. The concept is entirely different. But I feel it's for a trans, there should be the concept. Already the concept is there. There is a box, gender box in your college, in your schools, and everywhere, even in employment also. When in your statutory forms, Government of India, PF, wherever you have a box called transgender box. So the inclusive setup has been created. People need to be inclusive, give more jobs, give admissions to people in schools, colleges, so that trans people can able to join and coexist along with you, not as an isolated person. Then they get into campus, they pursue, they get a job in the campus recruitment, then they lead a fantastic empowered women becomes an empowered woman. So this is what I visualize for my young transgender kids or young transgender budding future transgender people. Yeah, it needs to be inclusive, needs to be diverse. The setup needs to be very diverse. Yeah, so I could be able to conclude the whole national seminar, thanks to the executive director, program coordinator, NIDM, Madras School of Social Work, all department professors, and I believe that there are a lot of various years and various departmental students have been into this. Uh, Thank you. A lot of good comments are coming. Thank you so much. So thanks for taking up this at this point of time. So I think at least Banu will comments with a lot of nice good stories for you. So thank you so much. Thanks for being inclusive. Thanks for expressing yourself in this organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is really inspiring to listen to your experiences and also to listen the ray of sunshine during this pandemic that more trans people got to interact with their family. And of course, after the session, all of us are going to move towards a more inclusive society for transgenders, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Due to some emergency situation, our second speaker, Ms. Grace Banu, is not able to join us today. Before we move on, we request the participants to drop in your questions for Dr. Madhumitha ma'am. Ma'am, we have a few questions for you here.
Sure.
Can you give us some insight on maintaining mental health stress during this time, and how has it been for transgenders here in our country? Ma'am, shall I
How
repeat the
did
question?
how? Yes, yeah. No, I got the question. I got the question.
Okay, ma'am.
Um, yeah. So how do you maintain physical health? Similarly, we need to maintain the mental health. Mind is also a part of us. The mind drives through brain, and it activates the whole functionalities of the body. So what I suggest, or I share my views on how I maintain, because it's not the personal stuff being challenged, but it is also my own transgender community, and it's the whole society, young people, of course, school joining people are unable to take it for whether they have exams, or college people whether they have exams to take it forward, they have arrears. Again, the whole kill, a lot of cases, you are all aware of it. So with arrears or without arrears, or appeared will exempted from exams. So a lot of confusion. So I say daily how exercises could able to give you good health. Mental exercises also will keep you fresh, uh, uh, will make you energetic. Mental exercises can be meditation and can be mental gym. You start focusing on something, uh, say visual, you focus on some light, focus on some image, focus on some photos of your loved, beloved, uh, maybe spiritual, so that kind of visualization process, or the meditation can be auditory, focusing on some sounds, music, talk. So, what comment is comments? Uh, Policies. Uh, uh, see the major stuffs with policy making stuff. Let me complete this and then come back to the answering the second question. So I think that NLP games, a lot of bundles of NLP games, new linguistic programming games are available in Google. You can Google it. It will take you much time if I contact now. So those kinds can able to make you fresh. Warm-ups, exercises, yogasanas can able to really give you make your emotions vent. And it's only a physical disconnect. It's only we should not use the word called social distancing. Rather, it should be professionally called as physical distancing. It's only physically we need to be distanced 6 feet or 2 meters of difference. It's not like social distance. In social distance, it's socially disconnecting. No, it's not that. WHO has changed. If you're able to see the faces, it's all changed. So you need to be with society. People heals a lot. So you need to talk to your friends, dad and mom, relatives. You need to keep talking. For me, it's a lot of like apology. I used to be a very angry bird. I called every one of my friends, my old employees. Um, uh, and apologize them when I in the past have been very hard, rude, rough, unpolite to them. Asking apologize or asking sorry really made me very cool, very softest person. The hardness inside my soul melted away. I feel very light after asking somebody, and then they said, "Hey, it's okay. You did for that goodness. You did for this person's benefit, so it's okay." That time I did recognize when you call me and ask me sorry, I felt good. So I think this talking to people, talking to beloved people, talking to good people, talking to your own well-wishers, often wishing them, greeting them, exchanging thoughts, ideas, really make a lot of stuffs. It keeps the mental health very good. One good initiative per day gives you focus. Sometimes you need to focus, sometimes you need to defocus and jump on something else, do it and be with the trend. So I think this T2 process will keep up your mental health very good, which I sincerely practiced it, because when we visit the slums and all, they used to, like cry. They used to express their own bad, worst stories. A lot of child coming and telling abuses of within the families sometimes. So no, we need to console them, counsel them. They become emotional. Whenever I come home, then I start crying. Yeah. So the venting was always there. So gives me a lot. That's what I just want to share with you also. One gentleman asked me about policies kind of stuffs.
Yes, ma'am. Our
Definitely,
participant,
when,
Mr. Rajni, has
yeah.
asked that how does the policies made for disaster management affect or doesn't help transgender people?
I will say all the any policies, any policies, any body makes a policy, either it is state level, national level, sometimes international also. International is okay. At least national level, I will say. It needs to have a transgender people inside when you draft a policy. Right? Trans needs to tell, yes, it is correct. Yes, trans needs to tell, at least some educated trans needs to sit there in the policy drafting committee and say, good to go with us. I accept this. It's okay for us. I feel better. I feel able to feel. I am able to feel secure from this policy draft. It's good to go. That portion of writing, designing, communicating should have a trans. Men and women can create policies for themselves. Similarly, for trans people, men and women cannot create policies, right? Is there anywhere where people from Mars, Jupiter can able to design policy for humans in Earth? No, you don't accept it, right? Similarly, you can't able to design policy for trans people. Trans people needs to sit in the chair along with you, apply brains, and then tell this is what we want. This is what is equality is all about, and this is what we expect from this constitution. Change everywhere. Every policy of the local body, the state body, national body needs to have it, including the disaster management laws of state, disaster and management laws of the nation. The disaster management policy also needs to have this inclusion and the inception of trans people inside that. You're able to read the whole stuff. I'm also a law graduate. I could able to see anywhere trans people. I'm sorry to tell this. So you need to include this. Yes, these young people you come into picture, or the program manager coordinators need to tell this transgender voice, educated transgender voice, to your people when you draft a policy next time or amend the policy, improvise your policy or betterment your policy. Committee being constituted. Please add trans people from that zone who's an expert, subject matter expert, so that they can take it forward. Last time also we and trans people were shipped when 2015 Chennai mega floods. They've been taken and then they've been put into the homes, but there is mostly depends upon their dress and physical appearances. Few people were thrown into male zones, few people were thrown into female zones. Females felt very uncomfortable comfortable with a few trans people, and men started abusing trans people. So it's not like trans coming out as a trans itself is very tough, and then you going to put them into a men disaster mitigation or relief centers. It's going to even more cause problems, and it's going to even more cause harassments. So please, when you draft it, please have us with us. No concern will be intended.
Yes, ma'am. We look forward for inclusion in drafting policies as well in the near future. We next have a question slash request from participant Abneya Raju. She states her experience with interacting with transgender people and asking them for their preferred pronouns. But there are people who feel that it might offend them when we ask for their preferred pronouns. So, can you give us a few tips on how to carry out with asking someone their preferred pronouns, ma'am?
I'm not much choosy. Personally, I'm not much choosy about what they call and take it forward. And I'm very open to tell them, like, call me as a sister, and it's a little bit child kind of stuff, very small. I said, I'll happy if you call me mom or auntie. For young people, like, say, like, call me mom or call me sister, I'll feel very happy about it. Fine about it. The female pronunciation typically appears for trans women. So whatever dress they wear, whatever accessories they wear, it's all irrespective. The moment you see the visualization, the whole forms, then you can able to gosh, and then that time you can able to think, and then you can able to address them. So if it's completely a feminist transformative project, then you can able to call them in all female prefix and suffix, so that they this is what they want also. There are people, trans men, so you assumingly with the dress, and then you need to call them as sisters, then they don't like you. So when you meet a trans men, then you say slangs which we use for a boy or a man. Then you say brother, we say sir, or we say hi, and take it forward. That's typically common sense. But generally, you can ask them, how do I address you? Then they can able to, if you have a confusion in their modalities, maybe transition time, it might trick you. It might confuse you also. So that time you can ask them, how do we comfortably call you? So it depends upon that, you can able to address them. So that keeps a friendly, comfort to them. I feel that common sense at that point of time makes a lot of difference, rather than a fixed list of stuffs to be called. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the tip, ma'am. The next question is, how do you see the difference between the problems faced by transgenders during various previous disasters and that with the present pandemic, ma'am? How do you think it is different?
My personal views I'll share. It was 2015, and it was complete flooded. Fortunately, my home was not immersed. Submerged. All other homes in my area was immersed. And then I was to, I thought of, like, I'll join rescuing people. But the water is not clean. The water appears to be soily. The water appears to be muddy, but it brought a lot of dreidel, swish stuff. I'm not aware of it. That's the time my post vaginal surgery, the further advancement part was made. Garbage water into the vaginal organs. That time, I don't know the impact of it, because I didn't discuss with my doctor whether to able to jump in the water or not. I jumped because there was boys getting into that, helping them, and people shouting, "Oh, Tanya, the shit!" Oh, they were saying, "They're like, I need to help them." I didn't think about it. I said, like, just jump and let's just help. Helping should come. Rescue people first. I jumped it. I did it. Second day also, they called me for a nearby road, because we are a nearby dam. So they being there, and people say, like, "Oh, how do trans people come?" I said, like, "Hey, I have born boy, right? Design my whole gender. So I also can come with you irrespective of gender. I'll come with you and I'll rescue people. People are first. And I'm just a human being. You don't treat me as a man, women, transgender, nothing. I'm just a human being. I need to save people. I'll come. There are old people who properties was there in their homes. Water level was raising. This granny couldn't able to explain to those men what was there. There are children who left their clothes with the latest sanitary pads in their because in initial rescue homes it was not organized. Sanitary pads, cloths was not available. They felt comfortable with me. They said like, Akka, can you able to go and pick that? I said I jumped into it, and then we brought it in. That part, that 2 days is okay. Heroism. They all felt like goddesses, heroines jumping into the ashy, dirty, nasty, smelly water, serving them. God. It was 2 days later. Then I started having fever. Called my doctor. Said like, yeah, you have your vaginal infection, and then I suffered for nearly a month of time. It was very hectic actually, very bad health situation on that time. So we need to have a little bit of this gender stuff also during pandemic, what we can do and what we should not do, because we can do the other activities inside the homes also, leave homes also. That part would have taken, then would have consistently been healthy. People, but I was sick, and with your vaginal pain you serve and then make it worse. It was very dirty feel factor on that time. I think I just little bit overruled it, or I would have avoided that. So female social worker in future during these kind of pandemic times, these kind of disaster times, especially females need to take a very right decision whether your physical will fit into it or not. You could be able to do better jobs, key high risky stuffs, avoid it and take it forward and move ahead. This is personal health issues. Other part is disaster is always prone for worst people, criminals, waiting for opportunity to do theft, robbery, or abuse women. These two will always happen in uh, these kind of disaster time. When to rescue people, I saw people lifting things from other homes. They said like, you seems to be unauthorized. How did you enter it? They're breaking homes and all. So we were having quarrel with them. They were about to hit us in the water and all. So I think that portion also I should have avoided them directly doing a police job during a social worker role. So I think these are all very bad experiences for me. They hit us very bad. Very few, 2 3 boys came along with me, so all of us got beaten up. We didn't had any protective stuffs, upper portion of the water. This also very bad experience for us during, and abusal. So you need to be, as a women, as a trans women, we need to see the zones are very safe for us within people front. We need to see it, else we can be abused also during disaster time. So these three different experiences I want to share at this point of time, because every disaster is different. Every disaster has its own impact. See the situation and take it forward, because that time, 15 was entirely new for us. I've seen floods, I've seen flash floods in Chennai. I'm a complete absolute Chennai person, but I've not seen that kind of mega floods in Chennai. First experience for me. Varda is also complete washed away all the trees. It's completely new experience for us when we clean all the trees, rehabilitate schools, government schools, village schools, and 15 also rehabilitating schools and all was very. So every disaster has different. Gaja is again a different exposure. Traveling along with unknown people in the village side. Day is fine, but night when you settle down somewhere along with them in the unknown people, unknown places where communication is not there, you need to be very safe. You need to be very safe and secure. You need to go along with authorized people, government agencies, local bodies, or known NGOs, social workers, known social workers proximity to you, so that transgender women or a women can be very safe. Even for guys also, they might face all pandemic during disasters also. So we need to see the personal safety of the volunteer, personal safety of the social worker during pandemic also, because as a volunteer, as a professional social workers, MSW qualified people, you are very important. The self is very important, because these kind of serving heart is very rare to find, and these kind of daring brains are also very rare to find. If you are good, if you are safe, if you're energetic, if you're healthy, if you're injured, if you are infected, if you are personally damaged, your physique or your properties or your tools, you can't able to help others. Have this in mind. Safety first, service second.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.